two, 1, 2. Check. Yes? I got 22 seconds. 1, 2, 1, 2. What's going on? Okay. Well, I don't think we need to be on if we don't have a check. And we'll have to work on it in between, okay? Um, does that need to get, y'all keep working on it? I'm gonna leave the mic hot. And y'all just see what you can do. Reg, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. Alright. Good morning, everybody. I hope y'all are doing well. Um, on this holiday weekend. Hey, Mr. Noah, how are you doing, sir? We have some technical difficulties up there going on as far as sound system is concerned. 1 and 2, and so we'll take it. If y'all click it in and everything takes off, then that'll just be the way it goes. And Rich, for you, I guess you could say technical difficulty or something. All right. So we'll look at Luke chapter 10, verses 1 through 20. Again, this is interesting. I mean, I think this is a pretty common passage, but I always kind of I've learned to stop taking for granted the fact that you just go, okay, just because I understand, I know this passage that everybody else knows it. And that's not the way things work. It's taken me long enough, but I'm getting there. But Luke 10, 1 through 20, again, think also in context of probably the passages we've heard lately about this same exact sense of what's going on, and the fact that Luke was written for kind of a lower socioeconomic group of people that were Gentiles, non-Jews, that were they weren't a part of the Jewish tradition, Jewish faith. So they're outside of this, and they're being brought into it, but not brought into, per se, this Jewish faith, but brought into this thing that comes out of the Jewish tradition. And some would argue it's just an extension of the Jewish tradition. And that's where Christianity kind of gets funky on some levels. But so here's this tradition, this Jesus, who was Jewish, who's going along with this God, and then suddenly kind of expands what that means to be a part of the faith, and then also changes it to it's not just for this group of people, but it's suddenly expanded after the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus. Okay, is that so? And think about this passage in that context too. And then, of course, at the end, we get to talk about what this means for us and how it works and plays out. You can't see. Well, Christian, your lights keep flickering over there. We're in the Presbyterian disco over there. No, I do not. Yeah. You have to dance though. You have to dance with the beat of the light. It's terrible lighting. But hey, y'all, we're just waiting for the dimmers. We're just waiting for the dimmers. Please, God, send me some dimmers. We have the electrician. We have all the other pieces. We even have the money, strangely enough. But we just need dimmers. In this world of supply chain issues, you just go. The easiest piece, the easiest piece is the part we can get. All that aside, Luke chapter 10, verses 1 through 20. And after this, the Lord appointed 70 others and sent them on ahead of him in pairs to every town and place where he himself intended to go. And he said to them, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore ask the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest. Go on your way. See, I am sending you out like lambs into the midst of the wolves. Carry no purse, no bag, no sandals, and greet no one on the road. Whatever house you enter, first say, peace to this house. And if anyone is there who shares in peace, your peace will rest on that person. But if not, it will return to you. Remain in the same house, eating and drinking whatever they provide, for the laborers deserve to be paid. Do not move about from house to house. Whenever you enter a town and its people welcome you, eat what is set before you. Cure the sick who are there, and say to them, the kingdom of God has come near to you. But whenever you enter a town and they do not welcome you, go out into the streets and say, even the dust of your town that clings to our feet, we wipe off and protest against you. Yet, know this, the kingdom of God has come near, and I tell you, on that day, it will be more tolerable for Sodom than for that town. Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Bethsaida! For if the deeds of power done in you had been done in Tyre and Sidon, they would have repented long ago, sitting in sackcloth and ashes. But at the judgment, it will be more tolerable for Tyre and Sidon than for you. And you, Capernaum, you will be exalted to heaven. No, you will be brought down to Hades. Whoever listens to you listens to me, and whoever rejects you rejects me, and whoever rejects me rejects the one who sent me. The 70 returned with joy, saying, Lord, in your name even the demons submit to us. And he said to them, I watched Satan fall from heaven like a flash of lightning. See, I have given you authority to tread on snakes and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing will hurt you. Nevertheless, do not rejoice at this, that the spirits submit to you, but rejoice that your names are written in heaven. Okay. Familiar? Parts of it. Yeah. It could be that it's because normally I would say that the lectionary skips the middle part about the woes and the condemnations. It just jumps. It tells the story of the 70 and then leaves that middle part out. Because why? People just don't want to deal with it. You know, I mean, I know that's a really short answer, and it's not the nicest answer. But I mean, when you start plowing through Sidon and Tyre and all those kind of things, it's hard to. You have to spend so much time explaining what happened there and why those things go on, and why he's saying, "Oh, this is woe to you," but "Oh, you're doing well." You know, those kind of things get kind of cumbersome. And also, I mean, let's be real honest. People who stand up here don't want to sit around and talk about the hellfire and damnation. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. I mean, yeah. I mean, mainline churches really don't want to go down that road. And then there is a legitimate reason for that, but there's also, every once in a while we do need to kind of focus on the texts that are there and be honest with them. And of course I say that and then say, so you're dealing with that today? Oh no, heck no. but I'm on it. Yeah, I can honestly say this is not yeah, I'm honestly not going to talk about it. And ultimately, the simple reason is why I don't want to. and some of that's my own history. I mean, I grew up being told I was going to go to hell from the time I was probably 5. So I don't really want to put that on other people. I don't want to put that on other people. I'd rather focus on the other part of this passage and the notion, especially in this time in the life of our congregation, about things that are just going on in a positive way. And we can talk about that when we get to the end of our session. But yeah, no. I love the question because sometimes I always want to say that because in academic circles we talk all day long about other things, and then but we get to most people would never go, yeah, I'm glad, why are we skipping this part? We wouldn't even talk about that because we all know better. you know.
Do you want to keep your congregation?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
There's few laborers and lots of others. That's a great topic.
Oh yeah. And interestingly enough, yeah, the 80-20, we do. I mean, we just let there be like, bing. Yeah, you say that, and the light comes on. Light bulb over her head. Idea, but that. I mean, we're going to hit on that just a little because I'm just going to talk about the overall aspect of what this is today in the sermon because I just think it's really applicable to where we are. But, okay, so what'd you hear?
Why did you send out 70 for 72?
I suspect, I mean, that's probably a great question. And I must confess, too, on this one, there are a lot of things that I anticipate during the week that y'all might ask. I did not anticipate that. Okay? Why 70? I don't know.
There's so many numbers in
right.
Jewish history.
Yeah, you would think he would have sent 40 because 40 is a big number in numerology kind of aspects. 70. I don't have anything off the top of my head, unless this is what he had, Ultimately, that's what.
That's what I was thinking. That was just the number.
It's what he had. Yeah, I mean, I do think that there is an aspect of that we can definitely talk about. Notice he does send. What is it about the people that were sent? Okay, we know there's 70.
My version actually says 72.
Oh, 72.
But he sent them in pairs.
Right. I would have to. My only thing on that one, and I did go back actually and look at the Greek text this week, but for a different reason. I didn't go and look at the numbers. I will tell you this, especially when it comes to Hebrew numbers, we have no idea what we're talking about 99% of the time. Hebrew numbers, I still to this day remember my undergrad Hebrew class when it came to numbers. He gave us a take-home test over the weekend. He said, you can use anything you want. And I worked on it for like 14 hours, still made a 40. I remember to this day, I made a 40. And he and still in the curve, because there were only like 3 or 4 of us in the class, I made an A. Yeah. I mean, because it was god awful. Hebrew numbers don't. I mean, there are some places in the New Revised Standard in the Old Testament that when it gets to a number, it's just they put a dash, and it's like you read the footnote. We have no idea, because I just can't even explain to you how you look at it and you go, I don't even know what that means. So, so there's that. But I never ever want to take that test again. I really no. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, so 70. But so what about those folks? What does he do with them? He sends them ahead. He sends them pairs, right? So you're never alone. So there is a notion here that this is not a solo aspect. That faith and mission is never an individual thing. And I think that, to me, that a lot of the passage we've read lately talks about that commitment to the larger whole, as opposed to just, this. We do have this individualistic notion that, yeah, I can be a Christian. I don't need a church. I'm good. Thank you. You know, to me, a lot of ways that's an easy way to go. Yeah, I don't want to have to take time to actually commit to that. And- yeah, right. That's ultimately right. You can't, because church in itself is a called out gathering, is what ecclesia means. Church is a called out gathering, and you have to be in, because let's face it, people who tend to say, I'm going to be a Christian on my own, I don't really need anybody else. That's really simple, because then you get to make all the decisions. Oh, I read this passage. Oh, okay, this is what it means for me. Good, I'm good. It means nothing. I mean, and then people tend to kind of create their own religion, which is fine. You can have your own religion if you want, just don't call it Christian. And so there is a connection here too. And what's the advantage of going out with someone else? Support is good. Have support.
It could be a safety aspect. I mean, if they're going into places where they may not be particularly welcome.
Yeah, well, he's obviously knowing that. He's talking about shaking dust. Yeah, if they don't let you, it's fine with me. Go away. I mean, we're gonna move on. Okay, safety. There's safety, and there's what else?
Well, it says the harvest is
Yeah.
plentiful, but
Yeah.
the laborers are few.
Uh-huh.
So, that draws a picture to me at that time. There's just a handful of us, and we've got to hurry,
Mm-hmm.
and we've got to get as many people involved as we can.
Uh-huh.
And the ones that don't resist, or the ones that resist, just keep moving on, but we've got to get as many as we can.
Right. Okay. You say there are a few. Okay. We'll give us that. We know the harvest is plentiful. Workers are few. Folks like us like to dwell on that, and it's true. So that tells us, and that hurry part. That's the harvest is plentiful. Now and again I meant this openly. I am the worst person in the world to have agrarian images and metaphors. I know nothing about growing anything. I know a lot about how to kill things, plants and stuff, but I know nothing about how to grow it. But I do get this aspect. If the harvest is plentiful, then that means that it's ready to go. It's like now. This is now. I have learned this from having a farmer's market here, because people always call me and ask, when are you going to have the farmer's market? And I'm like, I have nothing to do with that. All I know is that when millers say they have crop, we start. It's not up to me. And so what that says to me is the crop comes when the crop comes. That's what I've learned from millers, okay? And that without millers, there is no farmer's market. I know that too. That's an economic thing. Learn that. But it comes when it comes. And so if it's ready, then that means there's a sense of urgency here. The harvest is plentiful, Jesus says. They're out there. They're out there. Now, we don't have that many workers. We've got 70 or 72. And we got to go get them. So there is this sense of urgency here that he's talking about. You got to go. Oh, love this part. Sent. There are several words for sent. And this one is you're sent with a purpose. You're not just go. Just go. Like when you're tired of someone being near you, like when your kids got on your nerves when they were really young, you're just go to the other room. I don't care, just go. But this is not that. This is sent with you have a purpose for why I'm sending you ahead of me. There is purpose, there is mission why you are going. It's not just go on, get out of here. Jesus is tired of hanging around you. I'm sure you did have those days. But they have purpose, mission, sent with a mission. Okay. And it's in a hurry, and we got to go get them. And the laborers are few. Let's go ahead and hit that. Everybody knows 80-20, right? 80% of the work done by 20% of the people. And I don't really have to say that to y'all. You know why? Because y'all are sitting here in Sunday school on a holiday weekend. And look around this room and see how many people were involved this past week and other things here. So I'm really preaching to the choir. But that's the way it goes. It's that way for the budget too. I am told. I do not know for fact, but I am told. So we know that. So there are a few. So we have a couple options. We can sit around and gripe about it and go, God. Or we can just go, that's it. Let's go. Let's go do what we can do. Okay? That's really our options, personally. Or try to recruit more. And that's exactly what they're doing, right? They're trying to get more. They're trying to add more. He says, can we get 24%? I'll just take that. Okay? And so, but they're going. They're sent with a purpose. Now, what else does he tell them? What else does he tell them? You don't have time to waste? All right. Okay. So what does that say to them? Hey, you go and proclaim peace to the house, cure the sick, and tell them that the kingdom of God is near. Okay? And then what? Move on. So what does that tell us about them and what does that tell us? Let me leave it at that question that way.
If they resist, move on.
Yeah.
We don't have time to convince them to change their mind.
Yeah.
Just go to the like-minded people
Okay.
and keep going. Bring them the message.
Yeah.
Take the message to someone else, and it's up to them
Right.
to
Okay.
believe or not.
So we are not, or at least the disciples are not responsible for the results, good or bad.
They're not trying to fully convert the people.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get their attention enough so that
Or
they come back.
or conversion is
conversion.
yeah, it's the notion is we are called to proclaim.
Well, it's this part too, because you go back to the beginning and we said he's sending them out ahead of him.
Yeah.
So are they to go out and just, hey, Jesus is away, and then Jesus is coming, and then he's gonna be like,
Yeah.
boom, and then he's gonna follow that.
Well, that's a great question because they come back to him and tell at the end of it, they come back and say, hey man, we had this was a good mission trip. We did this, we did this, we did this.
Or don't go there because you'll waste your time.
Or don't go there, you're wasting your time, right? Yeah, they are sent with a mission, and their mission is to proclaim. That's all they're called to do. They aren't responsible for results in that way.
So the guy who's standing on the corner shouting about the end of the world, he's proclaiming.
Yeah. Yeah, probably not in the way that you're ever going to catch me doing it, but, I'm just not a megaphone guy.
Actually, I would be curious, exactly how they did go about it.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah, we don't have time.
No, we do. No, we're about to flip here. Okay, it doesn't really say. They're just called to proclaim. And let's think about this. Who are these 70 people? Who are they? Disciples. So they're just people.
But as you said, wasn't it more than likely they were Gentiles also?
Well, they're going to
Or the ones that are
Gentiles.
going out?
Yeah,
ones that are going
the
out?
ones that are going, no, they're reaching out to Gentiles. So these aren't these are probably followers of Jesus, so they're probably Jewish, more than likely. And so, but they're going to proclaim to people who
It's
don't
probably not gonna
necessarily,
believe them,
who
yeah.
haven't necessarily heard. Because, Paul spent his entire ministry proclaiming to the Gentiles. He reaches people who are outsiders. So we have to understand them as they're reaching out to outsiders. That's the best, trajectory, transition. Okay, how much, what say did these 70 have in this? These disciples? Did it say Jesus asked them? They did not. So, the excuse of, yeah, that's not my thing, he didn't ask that, did he? He didn't have a sign-up sheet in the foyer or the vestibule. Sorry. Didn't want to get that wrong. But that, yeah, you did. I hope you didn't record that. But he says, you go. And yeah, okay, we get to the, yeah, it's that jewel in the crown thing I was telling you about the other day. This is, I'm just reporting the news. I'm not responsible for the results. I'm just proclaiming. Okay.
It's easier
Yeah.
to
Uh-huh.
go
Uh-huh.
if someone
Yeah.
says,
Yeah.
I want you to go.
Uh-huh.
And if you put a sheet out and say, if you're interested,
Yeah.
sign up for this project.
Okay.
Somebody asks you point blank.
They were,
participate.
yeah. Yes. Yeah, you are, okay. So, what does this passage mean for us today? Because we are on our time now. And we'll get to Chris's question, because I think that's important. No, I know, it's a part of, I think it's a part of the answer. So the issue for us is, there are a lot of people who want to come to church and just be, Deb and I, when I was in undergrad, there was this huge group of the college students, and we were all at that particular college to be a part of ministers of the Assembly of God. That's what most of those people that came out of that were. And most of them gravitated to this church that had like 6,000 in worship on Sunday morning. Seriously, there were 6,000 in worship. The place would seat 10,000. But they would go there. Why? Because they were faceless and nameless. And we can go here and we don't have to get involved in anything. And there are a lot of folks who just want to come and be spectators. This passage says that's not what we are as a people of faith. You get sent. He didn't ask. He didn't ask. And he didn't say, I want the top speakers to go. He didn't say, he said, no, you all go. Just go. And these things, you proclaim. You proclaim peace, heal sick, and the kingdom of God. He didn't say do anything fancy here. There's no light show like we give on Sunday morning. But I'm sorry. I'm punchy today. But nothing fancy, and there really isn't an option. And he doesn't necessarily tell how they do it. So what does that say to us? That everybody doesn't stand in the pulpit. Everybody doesn't sing in the choir. But we all have these different things. That's why they're sent together, I think, in teams. Because guess what? He's told us this work is hard. This passage tells us the work is hard. Some people aren't going to listen to you. And we don't like to be rejected, do we? I don't. I can be honest about that. I'm being really honest today. I don't like being rejected. But he says, it's really not up to you. Shake dust. Yeah. You ever notice, like, in that culture, like, people, like, when they don't like you or they don't like somebody, they throw shoes at them? You know, remember when it was the President Bush got the shoe thrown at him? That's part of that stuff is, like, we're stamping on you. We don't, you know, it's really a total insult. So when we shake dust, it's like, done with you. I'm sorry, but we have to move on because this is serious business. So as a church, we're called to reach out, to go and send, and sometimes, guess what? The work is hard. This past week, I'm just going to tell you, I don't know how other people feel, but every night working with kids, somebody else's kids, the pressure of dealing with other people's kids, and there's the fact of the hats off to this congregation because oh gosh, my time's up. The fact is that you're shuffling in a building, the Y, Silver Sneakers, AA, Wednesday night fellowship, blood drive, and the YMCA, all at farmers market, all at the same time, and we're all going, okay, huh? What? And that's all there's why you should too. But that the fact is that so you've got all these things and you're juggling all these balls in the air, and it can be frustrating because everybody doesn't do everything the way I want them to do it, you know? And so, yeah, and so it is like, oh my gosh, this is all going at the same time. And while I think that's incredibly cool and amazing, that's what we do, it's work. It's work. And then some, yes, ladies and gentlemen, when you offer food to people and that sort of thing, people show up. Ah, that's funny. And you go, well, they're just here for the food. What? I don't know, maybe. If a hamburger brings you out, cool. I guess, I don't know. But it's the turkey burgers, actually. But but there's this thing that it does take effort to be the church and to go and to be sent. But then at the end, they're like, oh my gosh, look what happened. What amazing things went on and took place. And if we step back, we do get to see a lot of amazing things. Jesus does tell us, hey, whoa, okay, I know that's cool, that demons are subject to you, but just remember the most important thing is that you're connected in the book of life, that you're connected in this greater way. And I think, to me, too, that's why you're sent in pairs, is because some days one carries the weight for the other, and another day one of them's pulling the other along, or, you know, just because there is this weightiness that comes with being the church. And we need each other for some days, because you're never always going to feel every day like you get up and go, oh, right, I get to go proclaim the gospel today. This is so cool. You know, some days you wake up and you go, oh, God, you know, how do I get to the end of the day? You know, on anything and everything.
So for us today, do you think we get caught up too much in the results?
Absolutely. I mean,
He said,
honestly,
don't worry about the
I do.
results, but
I do. I mean, you know, I'm
You ask people
Yes.
people to come to church and they
Yeah.
don't, or they don't feel like they want
right.
to. So
I think there's on two sides. Boy, our church is really doing boo 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 boo. Check us out. Okay. You know, or you know, we're struggling with this or that, because I mean, there are some. Trust me, Polkton, North Carolina. I don't care how good you are as a pastor or as a congregation. Polkton is Polkton. You know, it doesn't have growth. I mean, there are places where the church, where the community's growing like crazy. You could have a cadaver as a pastor, and the church could still grow. I mean, you know, and so and me, come on, y'all. Do I have to say it out loud? Yes. I mean, I struggle over those kind of things all the time because I am a numbers person on some levels, on many levels. But so, I mean, this passage is for me too. Like I said, I always kind of write sermons for me that I have to struggle with that part, that part's not up to me. I don't like that, but Jesus didn't ask me if I, you good with this, Neil? No, actually, I'm not. Okay, good. Go on. Go do what I told you to do anyway. But that's, I mean, I have to struggle with this too. And so, but this notion that there is this sense of urgency, and Presbyterians, we're not good with urgency. We're pretty laid back, all right? Yeah, we're good. But this notion too of mission that is all kind of people, and to me, as a frustration of a pastor, and I'm sorry, I've got to stop. But but I love this passage for these reasons. That people understanding what they do in the church is a part of sharing the gospel. It's probably one of the hardest things to ever get across to people. To say, what you're doing, you go, well, this is, I'm just doing this. But that's important because it's a part of this larger thing that we're doing. And it's kind of like usher. I've never been an usher, okay? But it's important, because getting the money, I'm going to tell you the money's important, okay? But I've never been an usher, so to do that, it's important. I've never been in the nursery the whole time I've ever been because, that kind of time slot. But that's important, And there's so many things that people do, and you go, well, this is not much. But it is, isn't it? It's important because it's a larger part of what we're trying to do with mission. And so I think that to share that, if I could ever say that in a way that people would go, oh, I get it, then I would feel like I've actually accomplished something. But that everybody who is a part of a congregation sharing a mission, it's important. It really, really is. Building stuff, keeping the building, because people judge you on your building. They do. I don't know that you go, that's silly. It's not silly. It just is, And so keeping it in working order and the like is good. Okay, I got to stop. Let's pray. Gracious God, we are all sent. You sent us with mission and purpose, all of us, each and every one. And you tell us that the labor is that the harvest is plentiful. They're out there, people who need to know your message each and every day. May we be faithful to share your peace